And I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to why we're doing this is we're advocating for people who need help.
Right.
You know, there's been a big shift in recent years with addiction and mental illness moving from, you know, a moral failing or a choice to a disease. And there's evidence to back it. And there's also a lot of people who have been on the wrong side of the law, you know, as a result of their addiction. And I think before we close here, and it's with Dave's permission, Dave, I'd just like you to come up here for a few minutes.
Sure.
And just share your story, because in as much as, you know, there's so much, there's passion in this room, and the reason why is because of, you know, people like Dave and his story. And so I just think it would be really helpful if you could just
Fine.
share for a few minutes.
I'm in a very unique situation because my wife and my attorney is also here. And I'm going to stand up because my butt is going to sleep. My son is my best friend. And he's been in prison for 2.5 years. First time, and I'm probably going to address it to you as the judge, he was addicted to heroin, and most of the people, I shouldn't say most of the people, but certainly the SunCloud people and one particular lived for Lolly know him or know of him. And he, before he got involved with heroin, he was a good kid. He totally changed at that point when he got involved with heroin. And what he did, eventually, he wound up with these fine people. But before that, he committed 2 robberies. Break-in and a robbery, wanting money to buy the drugs. One was from a retail location, and the other was from our neighbor directly across the street from our house. The kid, when it was asked a question by the police, did what he always did. He told the truth. And this was his first offense. And he just told exactly what happened. He wasn't hiding anything. And being in Cook County, he was taken down to 26th. His attorney did everything he possibly could, and we thank him for it every day. We also thank these people because they saved his life. And without that, we wouldn't have him. But he was tried out here in Rolling Meadows, and unfortunately, we have a judge that at first said, you know, this is a good kid, we're going to go very easy on him, and so he went easy, 10 years, cut down to 5. He's served about half of that, and I guess, you know, my question is, can anything be done to try and get him off early? He's never been written up in prison. He's never done anything to set him back while he's been in prison. He's been a model prisoner, and every place that he's been, he's gotten along with the inmates. He's gotten along with his officers there. He's worked at all 3 of the locations, and he's starting next Monday 2 college classes. So I think that it shows he has initiative. He has not had any drug for almost 3 years. His mother can certainly talk about his mental issues. Gone. He speaks, he knows what he did, he knows that he needs to take full responsibility for it, and he's willing to do that. He's in a much better place now, physically and mentally. He's in a location, prison down in Taylorville, Illinois, and we're very happy for that. The only thing that we're not happy about is a 3.5-hour drive And every 2 weeks, we used to go to his location in East Moline. But again, he says now, Dad, if you only can come down here once a month, I'm happy that. So he's mature. But my question to you, Judge, is there anything that can be done?
So I can't speak on pending cases or cases that could possibly come before me. As a criminal defense lawyer, I mean, you could ask your criminal defense lawyer on whether or not they could do anything to reduce the sentence. I don't know, obviously, all the appeals have gone through.
Well, there's
Right.
one appeal that's been going on for 2 years.
So,
And that's from the, not from our attorney, but from, what would it be, the public defender.
okay, and so then I would encourage you to talk to the public defender about that appellate issue and see what's going on with that. I can't speak to the case itself, but the only thing I could think of is appeals. And
There is a pending appeal that's being handled by the appellate defender's office.
on the sentence,
I don't know.
Is he
You
up for
can-
parole at all?
I beg your pardon?
Is he up for parole?
not
yet.
yet.
No.
He has to
No.
serve 5 years,
Yeah.
or he might get off for some good time.
He got day for day,
Yeah.
and
He was on task, you have to, I mean,
Yeah.
this was not, he had another minor offense. But I do want to say one thing, and you talk about you mentioned about being honest and truthful. He was. And I would basically tell people, don't do it, based on what happened to Mark. I would just say, yeah, don't say anything. But regardless, I know that this will help him down the road, that he's admitted to what he did, and he'll have, paid his debt to society, and he can move on. But the treatment, when he was here, we did round him out so that he could work with another doctor and the people at SunCloud, and that is when he started making a great deal of progress. So it was unfortunate then that it just didn't work out.
Yes,
Better
sir.
for him.
How old is your son?
27.
Okay, my son is 40 years old. He's been in and out of the system since he was 20 because of heroin and crime. We would drive all, just like you, we would drive all over the state on visitation days. And you spend thousands, we could have put him through college, money we spent on attorneys.
Just once?
3 times. 3 times. Now he's 40 years old. He's in recovery.
Is he out of prison?
He's off, he's still in recovery. I work at the Department of Corrections. I'm also certified addiction counselor. I will go down and visit. He was at Southwest the last time. The last time I talked to him, I said, you gotta do you. You're 40 years old, you got gray hair. You can't, you don't have another run left. So, we love our sons, we go down and see them, they're lifting weights, they're doing this, they're taking classes. And they got kids, and they wanted to come home, and they get divorced, and, it's like, I'm tired, I'm doing time too.
Oh, yeah.
Families do time. Commissary money, collect calls, kids want to talk to daddy. You're gonna have to go through this pain.
We have for,
See
for
this?
quite some
Just like
time.
your hair, you see my hair? Just like yours. You know why?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I told
I'm
my
getting
son,
old.
I said, you gave me this gray hair.
Looks fine.
So, the last attorney, he did an armed robbery. We got this attorney, he was at county jail, the public defender said, I give him 10 years. We got this attorney, spent $6,000 to Tried out of 6 years. Did 3.
Mhm.
But look at the money you're spending. You got phone bills, collect calls, you send them commissary. And it take me all day to drive down to Southwest and back, all day. Then he was at this place, then he was at that place, then Robinson, then Jolly, and then Stateville.
But I would do it again.
My issue
Well,
is
yeah.
more that he's had well, this started when he was maybe 19. And we took him for an evaluation. We were turned away from a hospital saying he does not have an issue. He does not, he's just experimenting. It's a typical teenage thing. Within less than a year, we're back there, and he has a full-blown addiction. He has been in several rehabs, well, more than several, and he's completed every single one. He's really wanted to get better. He's also been into sober living and whatever else. I mean, gone out to Alcoholics Anonymous or NA meetings and counseling. He has completed everything that's been asked of him, and he told the truth.
You know, my son is the best treatment guy. The last year he was at Gateway Fox.
Yeah.
But he can do treatment like standing on his head. He can do this, he can do that. He knows the treatment game. Hey, I'm lifting weights, I'm eating, I'm working in the kitchen. Hey, Dad, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, come on, visit. It's like he could be a counselor. He's so good at he's so good at doing treatment. And he gets out here in the street and he heads to the west side. But you know what, this last time, when he blacked out, he said, you know what? I blacked out in this motel room. And the guy I was with, he left me there. I said, he said, I don't want to black out anymore. And that's what it took. He never blacked out before.
Well, when he discovered SunCloud, he admits that he had to do something. He knew that he was going downhill. And my concern, I've told this to David and Shale, that we've always had him into in-house treatment. And I was concerned about outpatient. And in between what they've done for him, as I said earlier, he even says that they saved his life. And I'll always be grateful for that. And when he asked me to come and to talk, absolutely, I'll do anything I can, anytime I can.
I just want to be clear though, Dave, I didn't want you to come and talk for us. I wanted you to come, hopefully you could benefit from being here.
Oh, yes.
But also, I think your story just cuts to the, it's just dead smack in the middle of the heart of, why we're here and, why we're so lucky to have, this group, sitting in positions of power, because I sense, that if your son, ended up in front of this judge or with this parole officer,
I think it would be completely different.
probably would have been a very different story.
But has he accepted this? Has he accepted responsibility for this?
Well, he did from the beginning. He really
And-
did. He never lied.
He
never
did.
He did.
Yeah.
You did.
I mean, he,
And how does he feel about the rest of his sentence and the prospect of being there?
He's willing to do it.
Yeah.
He knows, it's what happened, I'm going to serve my time.
of course, the judge, he did hear the judge say to him, jail's not the place for him, he needs treatment, and I'm gonna go easy on him, and then a month later, he just socks it to him. So we were all like, whoa, I mean, nobody had expected.
This is the God's honest truth. When most of our family, aunts and cousins and so forth were there for his sentence. And when they said 10 years, I don't know what the rest of the day was even like. Pam tells me that we all went out for lunch And I didn't know that we went out for lunch. I don't remember a single thing after that.
So was it a relapse? Is that how he violated his probation? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he basically stole for,
Oh, so he committed a new offense?
yes.
Oh, okay.
He did.
Okay.
He was on task.
He was on task.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
He was on task for a minimum amount of possession. He had successfully completed task, but he was still on probation for that case out of Skokie. I did not handle that. Then he relapsed and then had these two incidents. He was taken into custody. He did usually West Care, which is the treatment program at Cook County Jail, is like 90 or 120 days. He was in West Care.
I don't know that everyone knows what TASK is.
Task, treatment, alternative, safety.
For safe communities.
Yeah, I get it. And it's a great program, but in my experience, many prosecutors say, well, we'll give them task, but they'll relapse anyway.
And he went through TASK for about a year and a half. He
Yeah.
had a 2-year TASK program, and he was in it for a year and a half successfully.
Yeah.
So he had just had another short period of time to complete it.
And West Care was good for him as well.
Yeah, and clearly, Mark Silverston is why we're here today. He should not be in the Department of Corrections. In fact, the judge, after the trial, but before sentencing, made comment that he shouldn't be there. Then when he came up, when the sentencing was continued for 30 days, and we thought he was going to get a minimum sentence, which would have been 6 years. He got 10, which made him, he had to serve 5. And yeah, Mark Silverston, who was well on the road to recovery through this organization, SunCloud, and it just, the system's antiquated, doesn't get it. And the case, some backstory on the case, it was a very well litigated matter where I was raising, on behalf of my client, a defense that because of long-term opiate use, it had modified his brain functions, and that when he was going through withdrawal, he couldn't understand the ramifications of his actions. And we had the doctor who was going to say it, and there were thousands of pages of, and so we had what we call in my business a scientific defense. It just, we didn't, the trial decision was not to go forward with it. And,
So the judge never heard that.
no, he was well aware of it because there were probably 50 motions for protective orders. I mean, the file was
But
this.
besides the motions for protective
never
order,
did.
the judge never received that evidence in trial.
No, he did not. There
So
were
that would have
motions-
to have been received.
Yeah, no, there were motions to quash, arrest, and suppress statements which were filed, never brought forward. The trial strategy changed, and we really can't go into that, for why. But I feel bad about it, I do. And just so people here know who I am, I have I'm a lawyer a long time, but I do have a stepdaughter who passed away from fentanyl overdose. So I am very passionate about
Thanks very
this,
much.
and
Appreciate it.
we can beat this problem. It's just going to take a lot of time and effort.
Another idea is, and this is when I was a criminal defense lawyer, I would do this. So if you have somebody who is doing well in recovery, let's say he's here at SunCloud, he's doing well, you can ask your attorney to ask the judge to commit that person to home confinement and to give them movement for treatment. And then while the person is at home on an electronic monitor, for example, let's say that person's awaiting trial for a year, but they have that electronic monitor, they have to stay at home, they can only leave to come here to SunCloud and then go home. That counts towards the ultimate sentence. And so, did he have that?
This was before Judge Evans came down with that mandate, so we tried to modify the bond on 3 occasions, and every time this judge said, I'm sorry, but no.
And
Okay,
then
because
there's
so
the
that's
issue
something
there,
that I
too.
used to
Yeah.
routinely do
No,
was.
it's a good
Was
option.
put my clients on home monitoring so that if they ultimately had to serve a sentence, the time that they were on home monitoring counted towards the sentence.
And this is a judge that's appointed, so you don't have any recourse. You can't vote him out.
Well, in Cook County, they have to run for reelection.
He was an
He's
associate
not- He's an
judge.
associate judge, so, and he was in charge of that courtroom, and he's no longer there. They've removed him from the felony courtroom because he's been too harsh. His-
I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
I think they rotate him in Rolling Meadows. I think that that's probably not. Yeah.
That's kind of what I heard. From a couple of the attorneys in Cook County.
Okay. I'm not into politics, but I think that's probably not.
So I just want to say thank you. You're more than
For
welcome.
sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the panel. I really appreciate everybody coming and staying here so late tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
And, hopefully we'll come back in a couple of years and we'll be able to talk about all the progress that's been made.
All the new laws that have
All
been
the-
enacted.
So thank you guys. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Everyone get home safe. Oh,